Welcome to the Recycle Podcast, where we discuss everyday issues from a mental health perspective. We are your hosts,
Dr. LaFonya Jones,
Dr. Rashonda Strickland,
and Dr. Nichelle Wall. Now, don't get it twisted. We're not going to be your stereotypical therapist.
What we will be is down to earth, informative, a little spicy, and vulnerable.
All right, interns, turn up the volume, grab your pen and paper. It's supervision time. As a reminder, this podcast is not meant to take the place of a relationship with a licensed mental health professional.
Welcome back to Session 31, Movie Mental Breakdown, Phat Girlz, 2006.
For this particular breakdown, guys, it may sound a little bit different than some of our older ones. We're going to test out this format. Please let us know what you think in the comments so that we can determine if you guys like the scene by scene breakdown, if you want a more general breakdown, or a combination of scenes and more generalization. So like Dr. Wall said, we are breaking down the film Phat Girlz, P-H-A-T, pretty hot and thick.
Yes, that's her definition.
For those that don't know. This movie is starring Monique as Jazmin, her friend Stacy, by Kendra C. Johnson. It was a C, right?
Mm-hmm.
Her cousin Mia is played by Joyful Drake.
Mm-hmm.
She will meet Dr. Tunde, who is played by Jimmy Jean-Louis. I'm assuming this is Jean-Louis. And his compadre / associate, Akibo, is played by Godfrey. And I believe Dr. Wall has some of the other.
Yeah, so the other character, Godwin, is going to be played by Dayo Ade. Now, if we mispronounce any names, please charge it to our heads, not our hearts. Thank you. Then the next person is Robert Meyer. He's played by Eric Roberts. He is the head buyer for the department store that she works for. Next, we have Ramon. He is Felix Pyre. And then we have Richard Eckhard. His name is Jack Noseworthy. And then playing a young Jasmine is Raven Godwin, and Ian Overman. She played in a lot of different shows throughout history, CSI, a whole bunch of shows. But she is just kind of like an extra. She's a waitress. And then Sidney Hicks, and the only reason why we're mentioning him is because he is Monique's husband.
Okay.
In real life.
I know, isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
So this movie starts off with a very interesting scene.
Yeah.
We enter on Jasmine being carried in on, I don't know what those are called, but it's not, because it's not a chariot, but it's some sort of seated chair where like these buff, oiled up dudes carry her in like a goddess.
Mm-hmm.
And
I felt like she was dreaming about what she wished was in her reality, like being a queen desired by I would say men, but I guess probably just people.
I think it's men, because I think that's going to tie throughout.
Yeah, that's true.
The movie, and I think it's how she wants to see herself.
Mm-hmm.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Which the funny thing is, one thing that I did think kind of throughout this movie, I was like, man, I don't think I've ever really looked at Monique before. Like, I think I've seen her, obviously. But I don't think I ever like really looked at her. And I was like, she's a very pretty woman.
Yep.
And she looked very good in this movie.
She did.
Her makeup was good. Now, sometimes some of them wigs was a little.
That
last
last
one.
Said, who told you?
I was
Talking
like,
about, do my hair
no.
look nice? Her friends lied. It's
Yes.
a hot mess.
Please.
Don't y'all ever let me go out looking like that.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
But other than that,
and even her style, you know,
You can tell fashion is her for real thing in real life.
Exactly.
oh yeah, because I was like, oh, okay, with the bustier, I was like, all right. No, she had on a.
No, she had a bustier in one of them.
It was okay. She did. I was like, oh, all right, I see you.
And you can also see in the movie that she was drawing some of the design, so you can tell that whoever, well, we know who directed it, but whoever directed it put together someone who could actually do some of the things, because you know a lot of times you just get an actor and you put the actor in there and they're gonna become the person.
Yeah.
So amongst this scene as well, something that I thought was like, this is super weird. Well, one, not the part that this ends up becoming like a sex dream. That wasn't the weird part.
Yeah.
Sassy time.
That her cousin tried to like wake her up with like a cupcake or like a
a cinnamon bun or something.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what it was.
I couldn't tell if it was a candle or if it was
No,
actually
it was
the
a
food.
pastry. It was a whole pastry. I can't remember what the item was, but yeah, and that's how she literally woke up.
Right.
I was like, okay, can we be even more stereotypical? But
Yeah, I thought that was all of that part was weird, especially like, you know, once she woke up, her cousin was like, well, maybe if you stuck to one of your diets, you would get someone. I'm like, really?
that was one of the things that I felt was as far as throughout the movie, I felt was a drawback. Like the hard, like over the top with the diet pills, if you would have lost weight or if you do this,
Right.
you know, I was like, that's just not a natural way people kind of really talk to one another. Well, if you stop taking them diet pills or like waking somebody up with I'm going to
pastry or
wave
whatever,
this pastry in front of your...
Yeah,
it
I
just
feel like it
seemed-
should have been more nuanced.
Yeah.
It was not that, I mean, they can make whatever movie they want to make, obviously,
True.
because they did. But as a watcher of the movie, it was like, bam, let
In
me
your
show
face.
you this.
Yeah.
Bam, let me show you this. It was no
Subtlety.
There was no playful back and forth in the movie. And people who watch movies know what I'm saying. I'm not explaining this well right now, but it was a little rough because I'm like, having worked in facilities that help people who are struggling with anorexia, bulimia, or who are binge eaters or who are overeaters or whatever, I've seen both sides of that. And you're not going to see the amount of things that she had on her table.
Boy, on that
That
dresser.
That was a whole other level.
Yes.
It was a pharmacy.
Yeah.
Like a miniature pharmacy. It was almost like those. Now, if you sell It Works, this is
no shade
this
to
is
anybody's
no shade to
companies.
anybody's. If you
Brand.
if you sell, and this is not sponsored, if you sell any of those types of products, but it was almost as if somebody, you know, that is in one of those programs and has all of this inventory. That's kind of what it looked like.
Like
didn't
it was
look-
an inventory. She was selling it.
Yeah.
It did not look like this is an individual who was using a product.
To try and lose weight, because my thing is like, did you complete any of them? You just, okay, this don't work, I'm gonna buy something else. Okay, this don't work, I'm gonna buy
And that's
something else.
probably really what it was. It wasn't that she was taking all of them at the same time. It was that she was not consistent with her diet plan.
Well, and I know we'll probably talk about this later, but especially if she's trying to get to a size 5. Now we'll talk about that a little later because
Yeah.
it comes up
'Cause I'm
about
like-
a little later.
How tall is Monique?
I will look that up.
Yeah, because I'm wondering. Yeah, I don't want to jump too far ahead in the movie, but you know, there is a part where he's, you know, her love interest does speak to that notion, and it's true for everyone. Not everyone is built to be a particular size.
5'9".
Okay.
Oh, she's my height.
So she is
For y'all out there in the ethos that don't know how tall Dr. Strickland is, I'm 5'8" 3/4", but everybody believes I'm 6 feet
and the rest of us are short.
Yeah.
for some strange reason. Like,
So-
no, I'm 5'8" 3/4".
Well, they probably think you're taller because you stand beside us and your hair.
Because I'm 5'2".
And I'm 5'4".
Mm-hmm. But I've also been told that I stand, like I look, I don't know what I'm trying to say, like I command tall energy.
It's because we got BCE,
Mm.
not BDE, BCE.
Yes, that.
Okay. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, so what else? Oh, we were talking about the large amount of diet pills on her and supplements, drinks. I mean, there was a lot of different things going on there.
Mm-hmm.
It made me sad to see it, actually. And that with her cousin, and you find this out later, her cousin being a fitness instructor, she's not giving her the proper way to do this. Not saying that I think that Jazmin would have listened to Mia, but you never really saw any of that. It was always that they were pitted against each other. And ironically, Mia is more light complected. Jazmin is darker. So you have that juxtaposition. It was a lot. And I want to say, was this at the point? Yeah, this was at the point where they went through the montage of their childhood and talked about how Jazmin and Mia were kind of latchkey kids and ended up living with their grandmother together because their parents were working so hard. But I'm assuming their parents died and then their grandmother died, because they really never
went into detail on kind of how that came to be.
Yeah. It was just a lot I was like, okay, she really traumatized. It's a lot going on with Jazmin.
Yeah, because even when they would go to school, the cousin was the one who was able to have friends, and people just, I guess, kind of flaunted to her and her personality. And she was kind of, it seemed like in the beginning, kind of bullied until she stood up to the guy. Or to the girl.
Yeah. And I think she said she was like 250 pounds by junior high. And I'm like, that is a morbidly obese child.
It is.
And you got to think she wasn't 5'9" in junior high. So she kept on growing. And I think even if she would have continued to get bullied, if her cousin had stepped up and just been there, I think it would have been a totally different situation.
Yeah. Because she said she never stood up for her.
And she felt alone.
Yeah.
Throughout that whole process.
The only person she had was a grandmother.
Yeah.
You got your set of parents, you got your cousin, you got your aunt and uncle, because obviously this family is close, but nobody is there for you. Not even your teachers, no classmates, nothing.
Yeah.
When I was watching that montage, one of the things that I did think, I was like, it's really sad that, we use visuals as a way to kind of put people down. Like, that's really your only option to really be able to discredit somebody, to hurt their feelings, to quote unquote put them in their place or whatnot, is just to use what they look like. And you're going to go for the easiest thing, which for a child in this position is going to be her weight.
Yeah. And the part that made me sad is that people are very judgmental like that. Like, why do you need to judge someone based on their weight, based on their skin color, based on how they dress, instead of getting to know that person? Because, I mean, obviously we know Monique is very funny, but, she is a very funny woman. And you could get to know that side of her and have so much joy because she's going to keep you laughing, Something that I thought, not necessarily in particularly based off that scene, but throughout the movie as it kind of popped up, it made me think about how some larger people, and I even have a client that has said this, a male client that said this, that is a larger individual, that they use their personality as a way to cover up and relate to people, and use a lot of like self-deprecating humor, and the personality has to be over the top so that overpowers or outshines what they look like.
Yeah, I agree with that. And if you think about it, you kind of see that image in a lot of different movies and comedians. And you'll see them kind of like go off on their self before somebody else. It kind of reminds me of that scene from Why Did I Get Married with Jill Scott? And Lamont was like, why do you keep talking about yourself like that? And there's a scene similar to that in this movie. So it's just kind of like, this is what y'all always do, so it's my norm, but I'm going to make sure I do it and I can participate in it.
And I can control it.
The other thing that this early scene made me think about was, the idea of the quick fix. And I don't know if that's an American concept. I don't know if that's industrialized, nation kind of concept, but the idea of just give me this drink, and if I drink this drink, and I have to do nothing else, and it will work. I can still eat my 3 cupcakes and my, 4 slices of pizza and my nachos, as long as I drink my,
Yeah, because we never
Diet
saw her
fears.
do anything healthy.
Even that, which I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but that order she made after they
It
came from
sounded
the club,
delicious. It did.
It
really
did. I was
I
like,
mean, I was
it
like,
was so
I'm a fat
much.
girl. Okay, let me calm down.
I was
Yeah.
like,
It was. It really
it
was.
was a lot.
But even when she took her diet pill that morning, she took it with soda.
I didn't even see her take the diet
It was
pill.
diet soda.
That's what I wasn't sure if
okay.
it was diet soda. I know I saw diet on the can, but I was like,
Yeah.
is it like a diet like drink
It was
to
soda.
help lose weight, or was it
Gotcha.
just a diet soda?
Soda.
I couldn't
was like,
tell.
so we not gonna have no healthy habits. Okay. Okay.
And then the other thing that I wrote in my notes was like, I think, again, I believe you already said this, Dr. Well, but showing that kind of adversarial relationship between thin people and bigger people. And I get the idea of kind of wanting to take your power back and, you know, not feel inferior to, you know, whatever our society says is the ideal. But I was like, man, it really does pit these different people against each other
Yeah.
for no real reason.
If anybody wants to read up on this concept, there's a book called Pedagogy of the Oppressed, and it's by Paulo Freire, and he goes into great detail about how people who have been oppressed or people who have been belittled in some type of way then become the oppressor and the belittler. And it's a mind trip. I mean, it can explain a lot of the stuff that we currently dealing with in our country right now. With Jazmin, you kind of see her beginnings of who she's becoming, and you see the self-deprecating, and in the montage she talked about so we haven't talked about this, but this girl named Daniqua, was it Jackson Johnson, something like real ethnic name, was picking on her and called her a fat B, because we try to, be edited on this show right now. And she couldn't take no more. And she said it right in front of her crush, which there's another part of her life, always wanting to be admired or get the attention of somebody. And from that point forward, she started fighting, and she fights everybody.
Yeah.
Friends, family, dudes that's interested in her. So she created these extremely rigid boundaries to where nobody could ever touch her. And I think her statement that she said, if I couldn't be respected as a stick, then they were going to respect me as a stone.
Fight. Yeah, as a stone.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's cool play on words, sticks and stones.
That was a cool play on words.
And the one thing that I felt from that scene that you were just speaking about is that she felt dehumanized.
Yeah.
And because she felt dehumanized, she had to she had to fight her way into being a human.
Yeah. We're not even going to go down that road that that's attached to. But what do y'all think in our profession, what would y'all see that at as far as behaviors and things like that in our kids when we used to see kids a lot? When they've been wounded like this, or diagnoses, because that's a whole other level.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's going to sound super cliche, but I almost think it's like PTSD, but not in the traditional sense of what like maybe the specific DSM lists as criteria for PTSD, but it is a complex version of that. You've been ostracized, shunned, made fun of, dehumanized, and you get to a point where it's just too much. And, you're going to go one way or the other. You're going to either implode or explode.
I agree with that.
And I was thinking OCD, because you become obsessive with the diet pills, the losing weight, the eating, even though she didn't with the eating healthy, but we've seen kids that do go to the other extreme.
Oh yeah. Because developing an eating disorder.
Yeah. And she obviously has one.
I would say she's a binge
eating disorder. And that's a more recent thing in the DSM, because it did not used to be in there. They only looked at, anorexia and bulimia, those sorts of eating disorders. I do definitely say she has a lot of depression. And for people who do not see ethnic groups, depression in ethnic groups typically looks like anger. that's I don't know why it's like that in our DNA, but that's how it ends up coming across. Or you got a stank attitude or whatever. That normally is a symptom of depression. I didn't really see a bunch of anxiety in her. I see that more so in Stacy.
I would agree with that.
Oh yeah, I definitely saw that.
Stacy,
Yes.
poor child, she needed a hug and a friend.
Yes,
Yeah.
a whole bunch of them. Yeah, but it's just a difficult. It's hard to kind of think about, like, if you grew up in the middle, like you weren't like a big kid, but you weren't like a little kid, so you don't relate to either one of those because you weren't really made fun of because you were let me not say regular size. You don't relate to either set because you were in your healthy weight range. But if I had to guess that you would slightly more identify with the larger child, just because you're not the exact ideal. And I don't think people, especially adults, really think about when a child isn't in either one of those two categories. And even for thin people, because they have their own issues as well. But this movie's called Phat Girlz, so we're not excluding small, slender people, but this movie is dedicated to larger people. So with that disclaimer out there, the psychological damage that kind of happens with, over analyzing yourself, body dysmorphia, that would be the other thing that I would add in there.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
With analyzing yourself, you start picking apart just
everything.
Yeah. Some of the most minute details that a lot of people probably are not going to even notice. But, you just really start honing in on, okay, well, this little piece of extra fat here and this roll here or whatever it is, not being careful with how you speak or what you watch or what you listen to, all of that feeds into a young mind.
Yeah. And it plays a role in everything going forward. Her relationships with women, her relationships with family, her relationships with men, her relationship with food, her body. Like it can really jack up a lot of different things with this one phase of her life. Yeah.
Some of the most influential times in our development is that like pre-teenish through high school. Once you start developing and liking, either the same or opposite sex, when you start trying to have admiration of somebody, I mean, it'll really mess you up.
It will. Especially because, as a teenager, you are already going through this mental cycle anyway about, with hormones and who you are, who you're becoming, what you're looking like.
It's to shift away from home.
Yeah, exactly. So with all of that going on, and then now you have individuals, peers, basically dehumanizing you, picking on you, or, things like, or not accepting you because of your weight. That's, traumatizing.
It is.
It can be.
Another thing, it's not in this, it's still technically the opening scene, but it's a little bit later in the opening scene. She said something to Stacy when Stacy was coming to pick her up. And I can't remember the exact dialogue, but she called herself sexy succulent.
Yeah.
And it made me think about how sometimes we put on this front to make people believe
that we're okay with who we are.
That we love ourselves, that we're good with it, because everything else about her suggests that she does not like who she is, at least visually. She may love her personality, but at least visually she is not in love with what she looks like. But I will call myself sexy succulent.
I think that was when she was late getting into the car, and Jazmin was like, "That's because you can't wear everything skinny women wear." Because she was trying on everything in her closet, and I think she did call herself in that scene. I don't know where, but it was when she called herself that.
Yeah, Stacey be calling her out.
She does the whole movie.
And now they are a weird pair. So you got over the top Jazmin, who
this
for all-
flamboyant.
yeah, she appears to have it all together. Nothing can hurt her. Everything bounces off her. She's rubber, glue and all that kind of stuff. But then you got Stacy, who is as quiet as a church mouse. You can
And
tell she got
shy.
personality with people that she trusts, but she got on these super thick Coke bottle glasses. She wearing clothes that are God knows how many sizes too big. Because towards the end of the movie, you like,
I was
You
like,
ain't
she
even
actually,
big.
yeah, I
I
was like,
thought
she's
that-
actually
yeah.
not big.
Yeah.
I mean, she would be
but
considered plus size, but
I was gonna say, let me say, she's not big by African American standards,
and allegedly African standards.
and
Yeah.
allegedly African standards. So let me say, she was not big by those.
Standards. Yeah.
Now by
European standards.
greater American standards, European, yes, Dr. Jones, she would be considered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But I was like,
but
she's slim thick.
She might have some. Them twins was big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she has some junk
yeah,
in the
you
trunk
ain't got
now.
no. She
Yeah.
can't do nothing about
About
that.
that,
But she
right.
practically, for real, had a flat stomach. Honestly,
I thought the same thing. I
it
thought
was-
I was tripping. I was
you
like,
know,
I did too. When I
like,
saw, I
okay.
was like, wait.
right.
But you
She's
can
actually small.
tell, like when they were walking out, and Stacy did call her out about all the clothes in her closet. I got to thinking, I was like, why is she buying too small clothing to that degree? I can understand the whole, let me buy this one outfit and this is my goal dress to get to or whatever, because people have, that can be a tactic.
Yeah.
But she had a closet
She did.
full of
A side
too
full.
small clothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she had a side full because when she got mad or came back from the trip, she was snatching all of them out.
Mm-hmm. I was like, she couldn't even get her arms. She had that T-Rex arms going on.
And ripped some of her clothing.
She did. I was like, what are you doing?
But it made me like looking at her growing up montage, but also her current situation. It showed that she wants to be, whatever size, the size 5 that she talks about later, but she didn't have no support for that. Not her friends or her family.
No. Which is sad. I wonder what happened to the grandma. I'm assuming she died.
Yeah.
They
I
don't-
wish they would have fleshed that out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they didn't specifically say, but based off towards the end of the movie, I was like, I'm assuming that grandma must
She
be
gone.
deceased. The other thing I was thinking about while I was like, man, they are punching you in the face with the skinny versus fat thing. But I was like, something that they are making a very good point about in this film is that while things have gotten better in this year of our Lord 2021, fashion for larger people has gotten better, but there is still a severe lack of quality, fashionable, trendy clothes for plus size individuals.
And you can tell that by people's reaction to Savage Fenty and how they were mad that larger women and men get to feel sexy about their bodies that they have. Also, the fact that Meg Thee Stallion had to come out with something because she's so dang tall and she's not rail thin.
Yeah.
So you can tell that there is still a long way to go, even though this movie was made in 2006.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very disturbing.
It is, because the thing is, they, like Stacy was saying, big women can't wear skinny women clothes, but they don't make cute, fashionable clothes for
They don't.
thick madames.
No. And I used to work in a department store. I ain't gonna say the name of the department store because they not paying us, but I used to work in a department store, and when I worked in the women's section, which is so weird that they call it the women's, you got women's or juniors
Or Mrs.
I was just like, what? So when they do that, you only have like, you about to be close to the casket clothing.
That's what I was thinking.
They be misshapen. You just
Yeah.
like a big box. Like it's a
It's
hot
all
mess.
bell shaped.
Yeah, like there's this one brand. Now this is an elderly brand as well, but there was this brand called Allison Daily, and it ain't nothing.
Did you work at?
I did. What? Yes, I worked there.
I worked there too.
It has a D
I
at
was
the
like, wait.
beginning. It has a D at the beginning.
And it rhymes with Lillard.
But yeah, it was just like, okay. And then it just makes you feel sad. Like, I tried to never work in that section. My section was
hated it.
the boutique section, which was BCBG and all of the high fashion and all that kind of stuff, because I was like, I know them women and men, I don't have to boost up like that, but you have to do a lot of like being tender with the women's section or with the elderly population that came in as well, because these clothes don't make them feel good. They just like, I need clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, I did not like working in that section.
Or in Studio Plus.
That's so funny.
It is.
I didn't know you worked there.
I did.
Side note.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's certain tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's ANCHOR.FM.
One other thing that's kind of in this, they've already gotten kind of to work, but something, since we're talking about versus each other, was black men dating white women. That was a common narrative in this movie. Yeah. And I think in this one scene, we saw like 3 or 4 black men dating white women, to the point where one slings her hair as she walking up towards Monique and knocks Monique's drink all in her face. She almost drowned. And the person that she's with is Monique's real life husband. But he's like, no, baby, you look nice. His acting was horrible. Oh my God. Like for me to say it was horrible and this was a low budget film, you know it was bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there was many layers going on with that.
Yeah.
What you just said, and then I was thinking also about that whole, like, you know, if you're a bigger person, like, you just are invisible to the rest of the
words right out of my mouth. I was gonna say that as soon as you finished, but yes, that is yes.
Because Becky with the good hair was about to get these hands. Like, how you gonna run into her and push her drink on her and then say, "Oh, is it wet? Is my hair wet?" Girl,
you need to watch what you're drinking.
Floor.
She said you need to watch what you drink. Where you drinking?
Where you're drinking.
I said, watch where you drinking. I was already standing here.
Yeah.
I was like, they didn't
like
know.
She walked straight into her.
I was like, y'all got the whole aisle. Like, she leaning against the counter.
Right.
So absent-minded. And I was like, yeah, there's a lot of layers there. I don't even know how to begin unpacking all of that.
I mean, I think in the movie, if we keep it to the movie, I think Jazmin and Stacy not having significant others, it's that level of, dang, we can't have nothing. They even taking our men. I think they were on that part of it.
Because these were also thin women too.
They were very thin, like rib cage showing thin.
So you still got the skinny versus fat, and now you got black versus white. That's a lot
in a couple of minutes.
And the thing is, it's this what is it? This tension that women have with each other as well. You know, it's like like you said, all of the skinny versus fat, or the white and black, and the long hair, short hair, straight hair, curly hair. I mean, all of that. It just pins
natural
women
versus weave.
Exactly.
Yeah. No makeup versus,
natural
glam.
Because that's even in Stacy and Jasmine's relationship. Even though, like, anybody can see Stacy need a little makeover, but she was cool with the way she was looking. So.
I know. I was like, man, she looked like she about to go on the usher board.
She just need a white glove.
Yeah, any second now. The way she had that hair pulled back.
And them glasses.
With that
and them
overcoat.
clothes.
I said, she about to be in somebody's church on Sunday.
On the first row.
And everything.
Yeah. So Well, I'm trying to think about what was in one of the next scenes after that.
I know right after that is when Jazmin comes back and she sees
With the boss
the
and
boss
the guy.
and
That's
her, the gay best friend, Ramon is there and all of that. But it got me also to thinking that this is just another way that Jazmin can't be herself. Like, she's an aspiring designer and she's facing all of this other stuff that we mentioned, and now this is a glass ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like she's just bumping her head up against everything.
Yeah. One thing that I did write about this kind of section right here was it pays, to have friends that are down for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Now, while she wasn't successful in her mission in this particular scene,
he was encouraging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that they understood where she wanted to be, and they saw her. You know, they know that you got the talent. We've observed it. Look, here's your opportunity, girl. I'm ready.
They knew where her sketches was, handed it to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they was on top of it. Like, it was encouraging and sad at the same time because Richard, because we can't call him what they call him and still remain edited. But he was just a hater from the get-go. He wasn't really adding nothing. He was a gatekeeper. That's really what it boils down to. And I think in a way he probably represented some patriarchy. And he was like, no, it's nothing you could possibly say that he needs to know, because he is the other guy. Robert was the head buyer, so it's like, no, he has it. You don't need to get him to do anything. But the reality is, if y'all would have saw the department store for the plus size women, it was bad.
It was looking
horrible.
Looking a little bare.
Yeah, I was like, it's worse than where we used to work. So
It's looking a little bare and a little heavy on the stripes.
Yeah. And see, that was another example for me of someone else making her feel like she was invisible,
not good enough.
and
Yeah.
playing into that insecurity of hers.
Yeah, it's a consistent theme.
Y'all, but that next scene where she at the bank, it was funny.
I had
but it was
secondhand embarrassment watching this, and it's a movie.
It was so much going on. The
Yes.
racial tension.
Yeah.
It made me want to say, is it because I'm black? Is it because I'm... But the reality is, it was because she was black and she lived in a black community. If y'all don't know what this is, it's called redlining, because the dude, the banker who worked at First Plantation Bank, decided that she couldn't get the loan that she wanted for her design business because she lived in a high risk zone, even though they kept saying, but we are equal opportunity. Sir, you
That
can't
don't sound
be.
right.
You're clearly
Not.
lying.
And I'm like,
Yes.
how is it high risk? She's in a home. Like, she in a couple of a 2-story home, multiple bedrooms. You can
She
tell
one
she
of them turn into century homes.
yeah, whole big mama situation.
Right.
So it's just like, no, y'all are just picking and choosing what y'all want to do as far as, you know, approving these loans.
First Plantation.
Bank.
I know, and I hated this scene on top of that as well. Just being a business owner and knowing firsthand kind of how
Yes.
difficult it is to secure capital
Yes.
for your business. If you have, you can even be established and it's still difficult, you know, and it is hard to kind of determine, is it because you're new? Is it because you're a woman? Is it because you're black? Is it because of both of those things? Is it some combination of all three of those?
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to really be able to pinpoint what the reasoning is for sure. But it was disheartening to see, like, you know, people want to improve themselves. They want to better themselves. And this bank is literally not hurting for anything. And if anybody knows anything about banks and financing, you make money when people default.
Yeah.
You know,
The
thinking about
inequality.
a car loan, the finance company makes money when you get repoed.
Because or else it's just money going from one thing to one thing, and
Right.
nobody's really making anything. You stay at the same rate.
Right.
So, you know, they're not losing anything in reality, but just not giving individuals an opportunity to improve themselves and, you know, potentially create jobs for other people, improve the community. You know, it's just a very sad thing. I know this was a comedic scene, but when you think about the more, deeper kind of underlying stuff underneath there, it's sad.
Yeah. But even to add to that, I don't know if y'all picked up on this saying was he was like that he equated that her inability to find a date was also related to her size as well.
I know,
because that's when she took her shoes off and stuff, and she was about to climb over the desk and get him.
I was like, what banker would actually say that? And I was just like, this is the part where I'm like, they just punching you in the face with it.
Yeah.
But because I was like, I can't think of a banker actually saying that. I can definitely see them. Yeah, I can see them calling security because you're, now
irate.
You're getting irate, and you're not taking what I'm saying. But
I almost don't know if I can now. If it would have been before January 6th, I would agree with that. But because we are in the state that we are in right now with our country, it's almost like, well, they might say that. They might actually say that.
Today.
Yes. In 2006, though.
I don't think so.
They would have been a little bit more cautious, especially because I want to say the branch was in like Hollywood or something like that. They wouldn't be saying that, but that girl snatched that man wig off. I mean, toupee. It's not a wig. That toupee off. It took two people. Then they let her go.
I didn't understand that. I was like,
why y'all just gonna let her go? I felt like they was like, y'all just tired.
I think it was the bloopers, and they just left it in the movie because they was laughing. They was laughing so hard, and she kept stomping on it in there. I was like, y'all.
Because I was like, y'all let her go, but y'all let her go and y'all was behind her?
Because I don't even think they went back in.
They didn't. They just stood outside while she went in. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was...
Y'all not type flight, security of the world.
No. Craig. But that was hilarious. I was like, okay. Here the comedic Monique is popping out.
The comedy, the relief all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So then I think they go to the club after this.
The club and the fat booty burger. Them two scenes.
Oh yeah.
I'm editing.
The club scene, I was just kind of like, does this happen to people? I guess.
Oh my God, I thought the same thing. I was like, are people really like this?
I guess it is, but I'm like, I feel like at least in black clubs, that's not how stuff go down. Like, I've never seen that. And I have larger friends. I have smaller friends. I guess I kind of fall in the middle. But I have never seen this level of ridiculousness ever in my life.
Yes.
Yeah. I was just like, wait.
This is so much. Happen?
Look, y'all respond and let us know if y'all have seen the stuff that happened to them. Like, I mean, now, I'm not going to say dudes don't be mad disrespectful, but it's not like this.
Yeah. I've seen disrespectful, but not like in that particular way. And let me say, it depends on where I was at. And it depended on how old I was at the time. Because the places that I would have gone to when I was like 22, I could see some of that ratchetry kind of happening. Yeah. The places that I would go when I was 32, not so much.
Yeah.
So,
but what I will say, Jazz and Stacy was at two different clubs. Stacy went to the prayer call or something, and then
because what did she have?
Oh my God, she had on a good black. She had a good long cardigan on. Like I was like, girl, ain't you hot
in the club?
Yeah.
And them glasses. Then you got Jazz. I mean, now her outfits be fire. Whatever. Yeah. Monique be designing some good stuff, but it was two different things. Then you had Mia didn't have no clothes on
at all,
with her little light skinned buddy paying for her drink. They trying to get somebody to pay for their drink, and Mia just
easily got it for herself.
Her little cosmopolitan.
And then I was like, what they do that at? If we go to the club together and somebody want to buy me a drink, you got to buy my homegirls a drink too.
Mia, it would have been banished from the friend circle.
Okay. Because you not ride or die.
No.
I know we talked about this before, and trope tripping, but we're talking about friends,
Yes.
not men.
Right.
And you don't go off by yourself.
No.
Okay.
We came together. Well, they did come and leave together, but I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, I need to have my eyes on you. Like, it was so many things as far as girl code that I was like, okay, this is not set up correctly.
Because first of all, I don't even drink, so I'm gonna pass my drink to my homegirl anyway.
And I'm gonna be like, I got 2
I'll be like, but
I
you
got
got to
2
buy her a drink too.
drinks.
Yes.
One for now, one for the road.
Yeah. So I don't, and then like I just don't even understand how you just gonna leave your homegirls out hanging like that.
And then old buddy would have got punched because I wish you would drop your beer right here. I'd have hit his hand.
Yes.
I'm
So disrespectful.
This is
Very.
Dr. Wall. Dr. Wall turned into a different person when I'm out with my homegirls because I'm like the mom of the group and I'm normally the smallest. But that's not the point. The point is we not gonna do this.
Right.
Well, me and one of my homegirls, we were talking about how we've gone out in the past and how my classic line is like, "Get behind me."
It's like, but I can see over your head.
It's not the point. I'm protecting you. But I was like, okay, dude, you mad disrespectful.
I know. Like
Yeah.
he did the up down on them and was
Right. And laughed.
And then set the drink down.
like, just pure disrespect.
Yeah, I thought that was so disrespectful, and that's when I had to ask myself again: do people really do this?
Obviously, they probably do because it's being exemplified in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was so like that. This just whole thing of how people treat thick
Other
madams is so it was so shocking to me.
Yeah.
It made I'm like you. I had secondary embarrassment. I felt bad.
Yeah. You know, in hindsight, I wish we could have had, a plus size individual on the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Today.
true, like a size 22.
Yeah. Not like you were a 12 or like a 14. Because,
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
in American clothing, those are technically plus size.
yeah.
But, yeah, but,
'Cause, I mean,
but
we would all be considered plus size right now, but
Mm-hmm.
we talking about a for real.
yeah, what you visually, what comes to mind when you think a
Yeah.
big girl or big dude.
And even that's a different stereotype because they can be big from a young age because they've been playing pee-wee football their whole life and it ain't nothing until they get older and got heart disease or something.
Yeah. And there's a difference, I think, for men between like husky, like you just a stout kind of thick dude,
Solid.
Football
uh-huh, and fluffy.
You didn't have to say fluffy on the men.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what other word to insert there. I was gonna say plump, but that didn't sound better. But I forgot where I was going with that. But anyway, moving on to the next scene. They went to Phat Booty Burger.
But the 3-letter version.
Rhymes with class. So I was like, first of all, this was one shot where you got to see Monique's full, like there was a body shot as they were panning in them in line, and I was like, her outfit was really cute on her.
Yeah. You
And
can
I
tell
was
that's
like,
a custom.
And I was like, she don't look as big as what she's
That's-
making herself out to be. But I was like, but again, that's just my interpretation of her.
But I also think back then in the early 2000s, you had that drastic difference. Like you had these very skinny to where you see like I was saying earlier, rib cage, sternum, like all that kind of stuff. And then you had like the cute people, which would be Mia, and they would be considered the thicker people versus
Well, I think Jazmin Monique had started on her weight loss journey at that point too, because when I saw her at the Improv, maybe in 2018, 2018, she's even smaller than that now.
yeah, she
Oh, yeah,
completely
she been-
small now because
Yeah,
I think
she
she's
been a beast on it
vegetarian.
now.
Yeah, she looked marvelous. She looked healthy.
And even then, I think she's a pretty woman anyway. But I remember when I saw her at the Improv, I was like, oh man, she is beautiful. Like, because I got to see her closer up. I was like, she's beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I looked. I was like, I don't think I've ever like really looked at Monique's face.
She
I was like, she's really pretty.
She's a lot smaller than what she was on the Parkers.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure. In this movie. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, most definitely.
Way smaller. But
I don't even understand how that little boy was able to get that out of his mouth.
Yeah, I was like, how
That
did this
level of
scene even
disrespect.
take place?
You know, I don't think he would have did all that extra if Mia wasn't there. I feel like he probably was trying to impress, because ain't nobody paying attention to you in line. Like, you just the person taking the order or whatever. But I think because Maya, you know, she did her whole little skinny order, no this, no that, take off the bun, just the lettuce wrap. I mean, just the lettuce. And then his reaction at the end when he cussed her out was after Mia had said what she said about that being her cousin, and she told you. And then...
Yeah. I was like, this boy was bold.
Very.
Like, first of all, how your coworkers didn't be like, hey, dog, like, calm down. Like,
it's
nobody.
a black
I
spot.
Like,
ain't
your
wanna
manager
say
didn't
that.
come out because y'all was talking about, y'all was using them jokes on the microphone. Everybody can hear
He
it.
probably was the manager.
Girl, I hope not.
I am the manager.
Or the guy next to him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been surprised. But the way Jazmin read that boy for filth,
She did.
It
I
was hilarious.
said, oh my Lord.
And he just didn't have no comebacks.
No, not at all. Don't start nothing. It won't be nothing.
And he just, the way he was looking around,
Like he thought his jokes was landing.
yeah. That was funny, right, guys?
You so fat you can't get up.
You
No,
know?
sir.
Sit
No,
down,
sir.
please. Just please get off the
It
mic.
was so sad.
Like, was that supposed to be your audition to becoming a comedian? Because you flopped that.
He was horrible.
Bad.
He was horrible. But, you know, he couldn't. I felt like he could take the ranking because he kind of called it on himself. And then when Mia said what she said on the loudspeaker too, his little ego couldn't take that. And he called her a fat B. And then proceeded to call her that again when Jazmin asked him, what did you say? She balled that fist up like Sophia. And he went flying, flew into all kind of stuff. Had fries and burgers and
Milkshake. He got
over
knocked out.
Okay.
He did. But then, like, at the end of that scene, we see her in bed, like, really processing and thinking about all this stuff that done happened to her. It's been like one hit after another in the course of 24 hours.
I was like, it's only been one day.
one day.
Like, guys, we're 40-something minutes in, and it's only been one day for her.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah, I think the beginning of this movie is only like 3 days.
Something like that. So then after that,
You know when she get the phone call
that's
that
what I
she
was
won
thinking,
the trip?
the trip to Palm Springs, right?
Yeah.
But she's not really feeling it.
Yeah.
And, you know, Mia's trying to get a hype, and, you know, she's super excited because she ready to go show off. And then I appreciated Stacy in all of her churchdom. You know, saying like, look, you need to do this. It's great for you. You know, we need to go out and enjoy ourselves. So I did appreciate that, even though, you know, she was not in a good spot, that she listened to her friend and her cousin.
Yeah. And you can tell that this is like our first glimpses of her for real battling depression. Because I think right before that, they did go back to work, and she was... somebody was staring at her, and she's like, what you looking at? Or take a picture. She said something crazy to him.
Take a picture, it'll last longer.
But I was like, okay.
And that's
she
when-
for real not...
But Stacy
Okay.
was also in a negative headspace
Yes.
as well, because she was like, "Are we never gonna be able to have someone or something like that?"
Yeah, because I think what's that girl? Jazmin was saying it's only black people. No, we the only fat people. So it was like both of those things were kind of weighing heavy on them, and she went shopping on her lunch break, window shopping. Now she eating fried food again on her lunch break, but then she looking at these skinny mannequins
With
and
bikinis.
just not matching up.
Yeah, it just sinks you further and further in. You know, that comparison thing, I mean, it'll
that's
steal all
dangerous.
kinds of joy.
Yeah.
You know,
gotta be careful what you feed yourself. That's not just like food. That's like what you're watching, who you're hanging around, what you're listening to, because that's going to further impact the journey that you're trying to go on, because it's not going to be easy. It's hard.
Because you have to remember, you already have those automatic thoughts that you're going to have about yourself. You know, we have those conversations playing in our head. We have those words that were said to us, you know, like she said when she was younger, and those things have been over the lifetime watered, you know, because they were seeds planted, and so now, you know, you continue to validate those seeds and automatic thoughts by the things that you're doing, the things that you're looking at, the things that you're feeding your mental, your spiritual, your physical, and your emotional.
You know, this made me so when they get to Palm Springs and, you know, they're having this the whole
Wait a minute, hold on.
what?
Before you get there, how did they pack that car?
Girl.
And the bumper was hanging off when they got there.
I said, y'all done towed up. I hope this y'all car, because if this a rental, y'all in trouble.
First of all,
We got the damage waiver.
This ain't natural.
It's $14 a day.
I'm trying to figure out how they pack. Y'all didn't close nobody trunk.
It was like a cartoon car.
Yes.
And what? And like, why do y'all have these like old school suitcases that like can't move? It's
Trunks.
Like, yeah, they had a whole bunch of trunks, which further tells you y'all probably got some money, because don't no regular people got trunks.
No. I got that good old Samsonite.
Okay.
Thank
Not
you. The black
sponsored.
version that got 3 pieces and it's got the carry on. Like, no.
Right.
Good Walmart.
No labels.
Right.
Yeah. But so there's a little bit going on in this when they first get there. You know, Mia is in her thong bikini.
Oh Lord, she just
With these
was a hot mess.
Girl.
But it do show the fact that even though she is super small and appears to have it going on, that she still is not a complete person either, and she's extremely money hungry and a gold digger.
Yeah. And that she leads with body.
And I was just going to say her external.
Yeah, you would never know she's smart. You wouldn't know nothing about her.
Not at all.
And desperate.
Girl,
Yes.
pick me, woman.
Yes.
Yes.
Most definitely. Yep.
Up, down, and through. One part I did hate about this is when they put them ratty tatty robes on.
Yeah.
Girl, I was like, just get a towel. Just get one of their towels. Their towels gonna be big.
Yeah, hotel towels are huge.
And one of the things that I didn't realize, and I don't know why, is that they have to think about the fact that they couldn't fit on that table.
That, I'm just gonna say,
But
that pissed me off,
Me
that whole
too.
thing, because I was like, why are the spa services in miniature form?
Right.
Because even a smaller person, those tables would have been a bit uncomfortable to
Yeah.
be, because anybody that's gotten a massage and those who haven't, you know, you start facing down, and then at some point they're going to lift the sheet so that you can properly roll over.
You would have rolled right off of that table.
You just, oh my God, okay, let me sit. Like, you wouldn't have been able to do nothing. But it gets you to thinking like how jacked up this is when you don't have things set up for all bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not okay.
Yeah. That scene right there made me mad myself, because I'm like,
I know.
seriously? They can't even get a massage?
Yeah. I was like, that table looked like it's every bit of 18 inches wide.
Yeah. The robes that they offer were incredibly small.
Right.
Jazmin talking about, I think my feet get pudding out. But they just put their raggedy ones on. But I was like, y'all know better. Y'all better go down to Big T's or somebody and get y'all a robe.
Y'all better call down to the housekeeping and say, I need a larger robe.
Or can I get a couple of towels, please?
Either or.
I mean, you can go in naked.
Or that too, because it is the spa.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be half naked anyway, laying on the table.
Or fully naked if you really okay with yourself and you trust your massage therapist. But of course, this was a spa. They didn't know these people.
But I wrote that in my notes too, that the world is not built for, you know, obese, especially morbidly obese. It's just not built for individuals of that size.
It's so funny because it's not built for it, but they make the food for it.
Yeah, and that's a whole other thing, because then you get to thinking back to when I was talking about redlining, is that also they probably live in a food desert.
Oh yeah.
So
that too.
and if you live in a food desert, like, you may have one grocery store in 10 miles. and it's not close to anything. You know, that's why you see a lot of places, especially like up north, you see a lot of places in Cali where they have a lot of bodegas and like corner stores and different things like that. Like that's not necessarily a common thing in Texas. We have them, excuse me, but they're not as common as other places like that.
Yeah. Well, insert comes Mr. Dr. Tunde.
Tunde Jonathan.
And he's swimming in the pool.
And her cousin was eyeing him.
Yeah. Like she had her crosshairs. And she was watching every move this man was making. But at this point in the movie, you haven't seen what he actually looks like yet. You've seen like some pieces, the physique, the pieces of body,
the chocolate.
But you haven't seen him yet, and she's plotting
as the gold diggers.
And I'm like, you don't even know if this man got money. You don't know nothing about this man.
Well, she did know because she had already asked because she knew that he was a Nigerian doctor.
Oh yeah, because the bartender said something about him
and for the convention and all of that.
That's right. Yeah, she was plotting.
She was trying to become part of his village.
A doctor's wife.
Now, you know, and then of course, Jazmin and Stacy show up as
disheartened,
understandably, as the doctor is getting out of the pool and the water is glistening all over his body.
Yes, amen.
And
Ashe.
Now I could have done some more research on this, but I do not know if in Nigerian culture, if larger women are considered to be more desirable.
I do know that they like larger women. I don't know why, but I do know that I've heard before that they do like larger women.
Well, we're going to go off of what the movie said because it was made by a Nigerian woman. So we just going to assume that there is some validity. Not necessarily that this is every single Nigerian man is like, ooh, yes.
Yeah. My plum queen. But what I thought was hilarious was that the thin girl just knew
he was coming for her. Ooh,
she
girl,
knew. Like she didn't even question it.
Well, all of them knew. All of them acted a
that's true.
They knew that they couldn't have possibly been chosen. And what I like, even though in this scene Jazmin is like tongue tied and don't say anything to Dr. Tunde, you are hearing some of her like internal dialogue and how negative it is.
But I was like, girl, crush your face because he is not talking to you.
I never knew bodies like this. I said, come on.
Okay.
Dr. Tunde. But girl, when his homeboy, his colleagues, because they're all doctors, walk up.
They was going in on Mia.
And they was like, if you can't say anything nice, say it in Yoruba. And I was just like, oh man. But yeah, when I was younger, I used to have a huge crush on Godfrey because it's just something about him that's sexy to me. But I was like, let me calm down. But
is he Nigerian?
Oh,
okay.
Because remember, I don't know if you noticed, but him and Rotimi, they have like this comedic skit that they do with each other. And Jadena, where Rotimi is Nigerian butterscotch, and then you have. I can't remember what Jadena is, but he's a lighter complexion, so he's something. And then,
I think he's half.
Yeah, and then you have Godfrey. He's I don't remember what he is, Nigerian chocolate or something. But either way, they have these names, and they have a whole skit about who they are. So yeah, he's Nigerian.
That's hilarious.
That is so
Shout out to
funny.
Godfrey. Hello, how are you? And Jadena.
No,
That man
is fine.
He fine than Godfrey. I'm sorry, Godfrey, but you know,
Jadena is
if
fine.
you're looking to add to your harem, I'm available. Just putting it out there,
for future reference. But yes, Jazmin was completely tongue tied and just was. She didn't even. She was like,
like she didn't say anything.
This man was signing to her. what is your name? Like he was signing.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Like,
like,
she
well,
would
maybe
know
she
that.
deaf.
He's
And
like,
he was
look,
like,
I don't care. I'm still trying to holler.
Right. And her homegirl came over to rescue her.
Okay, here goes Stacy with the alley-oop. Gotcha.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Until Godfrey
Yeah.
said something, not Godfrey, Dr. Akibo said something to her, and she was like,
Okay.
Now you can't speak.
Lord have mercy. And poor little Mia over there, she just don't know what's going on, and they just over there just tearing her to shreds, calling her a
They thought-
toothpick and
They
everything.
talking about she must be sick.
calling her a toothpick. Now I'm gonna butcher this when he said Biggie dying, and I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, and like everybody in their entire culture throughout the movie is like, is she malnourished?
Where's your meat?
Mm-hmm.
I thought
Hilarious.
I was like, I've heard that in another skit somewhere else where the parent was asking I think it was a child saying like, where is your meat?
But you know, it may be some truth to all of that, because if you think about like your older matriarchs, like that's the first thing they be trying to fatten you up when you come over Big Mama house.
They do.
So maybe that is something culturally, you know, that has been continuously passed down and we just didn't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But so later on, they go on they've been invited to go to an event later on that evening. And
Mia's date didn't want to take her.
he was like, I don't want to deal with the toothpick.
Lying, talking about that's his patient.
He did.
Yeah.
And the lady was like, oh, you poor thing. And I was like, but you know what? This is her getting a glimpse of what big people probably get on a consistent basis. Like that rejection and, you know, you're not the ideal. Visually, you're not it for me.
Yep.
And she couldn't handle it.
She
Yeah.
couldn't. You can tell she's sensitive. You
Because
know?
she talking about some doing the I wish I what was it? The Dorothy thing.
Which part?
When she was clicking her
Oh yeah, later the story
Oh.
when she
Yeah.
taking to try to get back home.
Get back home.
You know, it's just so that part interspersed throughout the movie. That's a breath of fresh air because we are getting to see things from a different culture. Like even when she was being shady before they went out, and she's talking about that's why they like to circumcise they women. I was like, ooh, I'm actually glad that they brought it up because female circumcision is a area that people don't often discuss, you know, because it's not, when we think of circumcision, that's something else, but this is like the mutilation of genitalia, you know. And so I was like, oh, okay, come on now, talking about what you trying to do?
I know. I was like, oh, she just came straight out the gate with it.
Yeah.
Talk about
she
an
was
aggressive
super
woman.
hating. Yeah.
She was aggressive. I was like, see, this is when we talk about that masculine energy.
And he liked it though.
He did.
Now I'm not gonna say he did not put up boundaries, aka check her, but he did do that. But he was still like, okay, I like that she's spicy.
I was like, I like that little fire you got in you. But so then they go to the, what was it called?
We just gonna say it's the banquet.
Yeah, the banquet.
We don't know what's happening.
And this is when you first start to see Stacy
Oh yeah.
starting to let loose.
But it was only after she got that pump of
She was affirmed.
yeah.
Now y'all, when that man took that fufu and dipped it in that goosey soup
And put it in her mouth.
I was like, I was drooling a little bit. I was like, wait a minute, don't you feed me with your fingers? Don't you feed me? But it was just like,
That's a very intimate act.
it is. And I don't know you like that.
And you just fed yourself. You just put your own
I
fingers
was
in your
like,
mouth.
he trying to make my Scorpio come out. Like, stop it, girl, get back in there. But I enjoyed it because even though it was a highly sexual scene, I also enjoyed the fact that he was educating her about his culture without it being like, well, this is the way, you know what I mean? Real extra.
Yeah, it wasn't demanding.
But I also like that he saw her.
Yes, he could tell that she
in there.
needed that. She needed somebody that was going to, like, you know,
pull that out of her
and
yeah.
like encourage her to be the woman that she is. And yes, you could go into all the stereotypes of like African men rushing through the dating stage and doing, you can do a stereotype if you want to, but that's not what was happening in this movie for any of the men.
That feel either.
No, because he was, telling her when Monique went out on the dance floor, he was like, and she tried to get her, and she was like, no, I don't want to do that. He was like, why not? Look at her, she's having fun and letting loose. Why won't you do that?
And he said something, and I'm probably going to quote this wrong or paraphrase it wrong, but it was something along the lines of like, there's some of her in you, or there's part of you in her. It was something along those lines.
That's why y'all friends.
Yeah. And I also like that Dr. Tunde explained what the spray dance was, and like showering you with money, and like
Monique, I'm about to go get these coins.
She was on a whole stripper situation. Like, that's not what we're doing. Stop it.
Yeah.
Y'all know something I thought was interesting is that after the event, you see Jazmin and Dr. Tunde walking, and he's trying to be like the perfect gentleman and be super respectful and all this other kind of stuff. But Jazmin, in her head, she's like, tear my clothes off my body.
That was hilarious. Yeah.
And then on the other end, you got super timid Stacy trying to like get her life together, giggling like a schoolgirl, and Dr. Akibo, and he want to rip her clothes off, and she's like, I don't know what I'm doing. So it's hilarious to see that they're going on this journey of whatever self-discovery, I guess, and they both need what they're getting from these guys,
and it's different things. Yeah.
And how both guys really are in tune with the women that they're with.
Yeah,
it pays to be observant.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel pressured.
Observant.
That's a word.
It is, because I don't see any of that in the dating world.
I know. I feel for some of my clients. They be talking about, these men are trash. Oh, I had one client. Oh, yes. I'm not going to even describe the story, just on the off chance that she might listen to the podcast. But I was really, like, it hurt my heart for her.
It's
just
sad.
Some of the stuff that she was describing and kind of what happened with this individual. Man, I was like, dang.
I'm about to have
That's
my
really
mama
hard.
set me up in an arranged marriage. I'm over it. I'm so over this.
Hey, I've heard some people in arranged marriages are quite happy.
Yeah, I've heard
Yeah,
that too.
I know a lot of folks. I just know my mama got to do it because she is her.
she got
You know what I mean? Like,
discernment.
she gonna be like, hey, and get it right.
Come correct. Well, don't come at all.
Thank God for my fiance.
Can't stand her.
He's gonna be happy I'm able to call him my fiance and not significant other.
That's
Oh
how boo
yeah,
thing.
that's the first time I think you've said that on the show.
I think
Shout
we
out
mentioned
to
it
fiancé.
previously.
Fiance. I could speak today. Okay. So then we cut to the ladies. Well, at least Stacy starts to get her groove on.
Busted wide open, and I tell her bring it back. I'm sorry, I had to, y'all. I had to.
Cause she was getting it in.
Yeah, she was.
On a whole other level. I said, okay,
She
keep on.
wore that poor man out. He was
Okay.
tired.
He just wanted some lunch. That's all he wanted.
She was like, nah, I got all the lunch I need right here.
It's like, you got to replenish your electrolytes, ma'am.
All
that sweating
them
y'all doing.
That soap.
I know.
Oh,
All them bubbles. I said, y'all put too much bubbles in that tub. Like, my skin was itching.
it was like a whole bottle of Dawn.
Right.
And it was thick bubbles.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, these like them bubbles that's gonna pop after. No,
No.
this was lather.
Yeah.
It was like they had a tub full of
Like
lather.
they had an outfit of bubbles.
They did.
You can tell they were struggling after that one.
Yeah.
To rinse all that off.
Yeah.
Slipping and sliding.
Mhm.
It was
Hilarious.
Yeah, I was shocked they was able to get in with them all them bubbles on there.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. No
That's it.
comment.
But when I was watching this section of scenes, I was like, man, look at vitamin D would change your life.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
As I
she
turned
can't-
to the other side. Vitamin D will change your life.
Yeah. She came on alive, huh?
She did.
Yeah. She started dressing different.
Mm-hmm.
She
Had
had
a
no
little
clothes on.
She had a little sway to it now.
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh no, this is no longer Stacy. This is Stassi.
Stassi. But it also shows what you don't got. How that kind of goes away, and she out here thinking something wrong with her, something wrong with him. We talking about Jazmin and Dr. Tunde, because he trying to be a gentleman. Like, he literally walked away talking about, oh, I hope I'm not going too fast.
I know.
And she's like, just take my clothes off and get me. But he was like, oh, I just want to go at the speed I'm going at. But you know, it is what it is.
I thought that was good of him, just because I felt like the observant part was coming out really good on this part, because he was observing that that's not what she needed. Like, had they immediately done that, like, it could have erased everything that he was trying to do.
Yeah, and I thought this was also a great example of two men showcasing being an alpha, because you know people don't know what a real alpha male is. That's a whole topic we need to do on that. But it showed them being the leader role and being the go-to person or whatever, and it showed that it's not an overly aggressive, demeaning. That's not what being an alpha is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I can agree with that.
Because you saw at least in one case, a lady with a strong personality that in any other sense of the word or situation would have been the dominant, you know, person in the room, but that she was willing to, like, okay, I'll follow.
And I did like that about her, because as aggressive as she had been before, she allowed him to take the lead. And at least in that scene anyway.
And all of them.
Yeah.
Really, except for the buffet scene.
Yeah.
She was just like, okay, I'm listening. Okay. She voiced her opinion. I don't know why, people that don't understand that word submission, I don't know why they don't understand what that really mean. We gonna go somewhere else with that.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say nothing.
That's another topic for another day. Okay. So what comes next? I forgot.
Really, I think it's kind of the next day. I think the only other thing that happened in that scene was we just see that Mia is drinking herself
to oblivion.
Yeah.
Man, she just gone, po baby. She just like, I can't take no more. She just
of this rejection.
She just tore up. And so then I think the next day is when we see what is his name? Jazmin and Dr. Tunde, and they talking about the fish. And he rolling with the sexual innuendos and stuff, talking about the fish eyes and it's a stimulant and all this. I said, okay, let me find out. And then Jazmin, oh Lord, she was just so inappropriate when she told me, can I suck it? What? What? Ma'am.
Let this man be a gentleman.
Okay.
I mean, he rolled with her, but I was just like, you gonna get yourself in trouble.
Again, that's with that punch you in the face. Like, the energy is just a little strong.
Yeah. This is also where what we were talking about earlier, the waitress was trying to hit on Dr. Tunde and acting as if Jazmin wasn't there, and was like, is this your sister type vibe? And Jazmin was about to fight her, like got up out her chair, until Dr. Tunde was like, why does that even matter what somebody else is thinking? I'm here with you. And
the only reason why you feel intimidated is because you believe she can compete with you.
Yes.
I thought that was so, yes.
Drop these knowledge. Better build her up, because we don't see a whole bunch of movies where the woman is being built up. It's always the woman building the man up. So I'm like, okay, I like that.
It is a nice role reversal.
Yeah.
But I also, when I was watching this scene, I was like, okay, Jazmin has a problem with being vulnerable and being open, and like we've talked about in past sessions, she's living from her wound instead of her scar. And you see this, she's sabotaging herself. Like you,
Oh yeah,
It
you
makes
can
her
see it.
laying out.
reactionary.
Oh yeah, you can
Yeah.
see that from the time it started till when she actually did it.
Yeah, you can see that she is trying to correct herself in some ways, because the night before he had told her to stop calling herself a B. Like that's not an appropriate way to address herself, and you can see her like choosing her words wisely. But then she makes that whole statement of, well, when I get down to a size 5, da 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 da, and the doctor's like, as a doctor, you will never get to a size 5 because that's not the way your body is structured.
When he said that, I felt a knife in my heart. I was like, "Ooh,
And
she
y'all-
about to break his face."
But hearing that though is like it's a knife in your own heart.
Yeah.
Like as a watcher.
Yeah,
Because if you struggle with weight, fluctuating, going up and down, or you're, a large to a very large individual, like that's a reality check
reality
that you
check,
just
yeah.
sometimes you're just not prepared for. Like in your mind, you believe that you can get to whatever this ideal size or weight number is, but you forget, do you have broad shoulders? Are you very bottom heavy? Are you
Are you? I mean, because the thing is, for her, like it sounding like he was describing, for her height, like that's just not feasible for you.
And at the end of the day, like, could she have gotten to that size? Yeah. But like, are you going to want to do what it takes to get to that size and maintain it? That is a hard life. Like I always think of like athletes and bodybuilders and things of that nature. Eventually your body get tired, and it can't maintain that huge of a change for her specific situation.
And are you going to be healthy? Because you remember the last session we talked about the diet culture and making sure that we are going to be healthy in whatever journey we're taking.
Definitely.
absolutely.
I do love that Dr. Tunde, when she was like comparing herself to skinny women, he said the reason why they treated her the way that they treat her is because they are hopelessly insecure and incurably unhappy. I said, okay, you dropping bars and stuff. But
That man spitting.
Yeah, he was, but he had so many little nuggets that he was given to her. Like it was correction, but it was from a place of love.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't from a place of beating her down.
Well, that's true constructive criticism. That's people always believe for some reason that feedback and criticism is something that you can't receive. But if it's done in a way that doesn't hurt you, if it's done with truth, because we've said it many times on here, truth without compassion is cruelty. So when you're giving constructive criticism, if you're combining truth with compassion, it's a much more digestible thing for the person.
Yeah, and we've said before, when you provide criticism to someone, it's not meant for either of you to walk away angry. It's meant for both of you to be able to walk away uplifted.
I concur.
And that comes with, I think as a whole, starting to change our definitions of confrontation, our definitions of disagreement, our definitions of constructive criticism, because it's been combined with such a negative outlook or expectation.
I think a lot of people just stuck on that struggle love. Like that's true love. And I'm like, I'm not struggling.
I can't tell you how many times I talked about that in session this week.
I'm like, you sit over there by
Struggle
yourself
love is not
and be
cute.
dysfunctional.
It is not.
I'm like, it's cloud. Oh yes, he talked to me crazy. That mean he loved me. That mean you dumb.
Right.
And I'm sorry to say that like that, but that's what that mean.
And that means you're very insecure. Because if you had some security, you would know that that's not how people talk to you.
You don't want your boss talking to you like that, so why would you want your significant other talking to you like that?
Right.
Somebody would.
Somebody that's supposed to mean something to you.
Let's get off of that because
Okay.
I'm feel
Your
myself
nerves
getting
getting
mad. I started frowning and stuff.
I know. I think both of us will.
That's funny.
I'm not okay with that. I think the next part is the pool right after that, and they talking about how their interactions are going. We see Monique's hairy legs.
That wasn't cute. That was not cute to me at all.
And we find out that Stacy don't have no more clothes. She just got this swimsuit because Dr. Kibo done threw everything out. But this is where they were talking about the sex stuff, where Jazmin was saying, hey, you know, how are you doing? And she's like, it's going wonderful. And he's like, well, at least you getting some love or something like that. And Stacy was like, this is a lust thing. And
I could appreciate that
yes,
from her too,
she's
because it
realistic.
wasn't like over the hill over him, like thinking they were about to be in love and stuff like that. So I was
married
like,
and we had a house with 2.5 children.
right.
Exactly.
She took it for what it was, and I like that.
But you can tell from Jazmin's perspective that sex is her litmus test for how somebody feels towards her. And you can tell that, you know, that's picked up from our society. Like I've heard a lot of plus size women say, you know, men will sleep with me, they'll have sex with me, but they don't want me to be their girlfriend or be shown in public. So this is kind of, it goes kind of hand in hand with that.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah, I've heard that as well, which is so unfortunate.
Like they sexualize them.
Yeah,
Fetishize.
I was just thinking, man, that's just imagine being fetishized on so many layers. You know, you're a plus size woman. Since we're talking about Black women, you know, that's just a lot of layers to be adding on why somebody would choose you. And that goes back to what we were saying a little bit earlier about being dehumanized, because all you see is the thing.
Yeah. It's the intersectionality for me.
Yes. Absolutely. So then is this after where she's at home? And
no, she actually kind of gets like amped up, and she's like, oh, okay, talking to Stacy, and she goes in back to the spa services. She tells them to put the bed together.
Oh, that's
She
right.
Sure did.
That's right.
Nails and makeup. Like she getting ready
she
for
felt
this.
good.
She felt
She
bomb
did.
about herself, and she
was going on a date for her with herself.
with herself, because this was she about to
yes.
go to the
I
buffet,
remember that.
because Dr. Tunde, when they had their little come to Jesus meeting, and he actually did end up kissing her down. It was a lovely kiss in public. He told her that he had a meeting with a colleague. He didn't say what the colleague looked like or anything, but yeah.
But
That wasn't good.
well, see,
The scene wasn't good. That's what I was saying.
oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Because what I was thinking is, if he and Jazmin were in an established relationship, then I think communicating more about who the colleague was would have been important.
Yeah.
But since he literally just met you
A day ago.
he's not obligated to go into that much detail about the colleague. So I ultimately thought her reaction was, I mean, I know it was for the movie.
I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's it was
that's why
way
I was like, that
over the
scene
top.
wasn't good.
Yeah, I agree. It was way over the top for somebody that you have zero.
Like y'all
Ties
had
to
barely.
it.
I mean, yes, y'all had your first kiss, but y'all haven't.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing else.
Like,
Y'all not.
You
I mean,
don't-
y'all are vibing bomb, but it's like you don't own this man at all. It also tells me that you're not thinking about his position. You jeopardizing his career. You also a little sexist in a way, because you didn't even consider that this colleague could be a woman.
Right.
Like, come on now. Like we in
But see,
2000s at this point.
But see, I feel like she saw a white woman thin, and it just popped off for her.
I agree.
oh, for sure.
I agree, and I don't
It
think
was-
she was ready for him.
She was, in that moment, that woman was dehumanized. She was an object. She was the object of all the women that have taken a man from her before, all the times that she's been overlooked, and hey, do you mind if I holler at your homegirl? That's what happened in that moment. So I agree with both of you guys. It became, that woman didn't exist as a person in that time.
And I do appreciate Jazmin talking to him. I mean, she was giving some shade to the woman, but she talked specifically to him, not to her, because you know how that go. You want to blame the person that's new, even though technically it wasn't that situation. But
Yeah.
how y'all feel about the buffet.
Girl, that talking herself into eating all that food. I was like, Jazmin, you just said you want to be a size 5.
Yeah, that there's such a mental disconnect, or I don't know I can't off the top of my head think about what the like psych term for that would be, but there's such a huge disconnect between what you are saying that you want versus what you are doing
to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, I feel like she got everything that was on the buffet. She saw the chicken, she saw the quiche. Everything.
Little cheese, whatever. Like, she was like talking to it as if these were her children.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's comedic in the movie, but we analyzing it from a psychological perspective. Like, she has clearly a unhealthy relationship with food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there is no intuitive eating going on at that moment. If anything, like, you are full on going into your binge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If this character had a binge eating disorder, like, you've just dived right into it in that moment.
Justified every part of it. Let's get this salad. Let's get the cracker. This will be my crouton. Like, you did good this week. Ma'am, no, you haven't.
You just ordered a whole menu of food from Fat Booties.
Edited.
Yes. Yeah, like that amount of self-justification, or I don't know if it's
rationalization.
Thank you. Because I was like, it's something. I can't think of the term. This is why 3 heads are better than one. Yeah, like how you rationalize that in your mind that, you know what, I deserve this because today is my day and I feel good and I feel pretty and this buffet is out here for me.
Exactly.
To celebrate.
But the reality of that is we all do that.
We all do. Girl, let me say I'm going to the Chinese, well, when we didn't have the panoramic. Let me say I'm going to the Chinese buffet. Oh, I'm about to eat ridiculous. Now, I would make it be like one meal, but even that, like, if anybody tells you, like, when you have a cheat meal, it's only supposed to be like a couple, maybe 100 or so calories more than what you would normally eat for a typical meal.
Not 3,000.
Right.
No, not 3,000. That's your whole
and
day.
Plus dessert. And plus that the 3,000. Yes.
If you guys could see my face when I'm thinking cheat meal, I'm like, oh, a buffet cheat meal.
Oh.
Right. That's why I don't go to buffets, because first of all, I can't eat but one plate.
Pure glutton.
Plus, it's nasty.
Gluttonous.
Now my mind is like, it's all kind of germs on there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I watched the video on YouTube and I saw a kid sneeze on the buffet, and I was like, oh, I think I'm done with buffets after that.
Buffet.
And that was just a video that I was watching. I was like, yeah, I think I'm done with buffets.
No gracias.
That was enough. There should be a height requirement. Must be this tall to use if your face ain't above the shield.
And that's a parenting thing too. I have never been allowed to go to the dang buffet by myself as a kid.
Yeah, I don't ever remember going by my
plates
kid.
are heavy.
No, they do be heavy because they got to, bring the spring down. That's beside the point. You can tell we like to eat.
Yeah.
And carry all the food you about to load up on there.
Okay.
Yeah. And
the pounds of food that you're about to eat.
You saying that just brought the visual of Jazmin walking into the dining room. She had a tray, not Wendy's, Luby's, Furs, a cafeteria tray.
Yes.
Full of plates. She probably had like 6 plates on her
she had a lot of
tray.
Yeah.
And then dropped it and made a fool out of herself.
I felt so bad for her in that moment.
I felt bad for everybody.
Because everybody was looking like...
Yeah. I was embarrassed for him.
The dining room.
The secondhand embarrassment in this movie is real.
It's bad. But I will give him buku credit in this situation because he ran after her. He still continued to hold her accountable, talking about, why are you so suspicious? Why are you so angry? Why, are you like this? And then she owned up to it and she realized she was self-sabotaging, It's just when you can't pull yourself back in the embarrassment, and you can tell her inner child was acting a dang fool.
It was.
Yeah, that's how you know when your inner child is not healed. That's a
girl.
very clear depiction of your inner child trying to get some attention, and you have never paid attention to it.
Mm-hmm. And the flip side of that is if you feel like you are a controlling person, you are parentifying someone else's inner child because your needs of yours wasn't met. But that's another topic for another.
Oh, that was deep, Dr. Wall.
I was gonna say, you just told them something so deep, and then you just gonna leave them right there.
We drop these nuggets.
Okay. I was like, hold on. I felt like I just went to therapy. Okay. Like,
But
wait a minute.
that is how it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I can attest to that. My little alpha self be having problems sometimes.
All of us.
This is not therapy.
It's group session.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're, as they say, therapizing. That is not a word. It's analyzing, y'all, ourselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Man. So then they go home, right?
What,
Or they go
girl,
back to the hotel.
She goes.
She go run around messing up everybody. Well, messing up Stacy fun.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about I got to go, and then they
Yeah.
start packing up. And Mia with her extra,
She was like,
self.
let's go.
When she was crying on Stacy and Jasmine talking about they got to be gay. I was like, oh my gosh,
girl,
like this still
you
how
have
you
no
make this still
insight.
about you?
Right. Like, please go pack your stuff
No
and be quiet.
insight. It
And
is
then
so difficult dealing with a person that is not self-aware.
Yes.
I was just Dr. Wall does not know this, but I had a headache after one of my sessions yesterday because this particular client, man, I wish I could go into the story, but when I say zero insight, I don't think I've worked that hard in session in a long time.
You had a cluster B.
Yes.
Very much so.
Jumping out the DSM cluster B. Like, it was one of the most difficult sessions I've had in a very long time. And it's like, you become a drain on the people around you. So just thinking about Mia, like, you're making this situation about you. I mean, she's in that cluster B a little bit herself.
Mm-hmm.
You're draining to other people because they're trying to get you to see something, but you are dead set in that your way or what you think is the end all be all.
Mm-hmm.
And you just got to deal with it. So then you force other people to compromise themselves, to not speak up to whatever it is, and dim their light to let you shine.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes no sense in the grand scheme of life because we can all shine at the same time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because the thing is, she really, honestly, Mia didn't have to say anything. They just needed to let her cry because she had just embarrassed herself.
And she explained it.
Right.
She didn't go into detail in that moment, but she explained it enough to where she was currently at. She said she messed up. She said that she was the one who, sabotaged this relationship, which was going really, really well.
Mm-hmm. And I do have to give props to Stacy because she said, I don't want to, take you away from you having fun. She was like, no, if you leave, we all leave.
Yeah.
And, I thought that was insightful for her, self-aware for her to know that I needed to be there for my girl.
Yeah, I agree. Because when you think about it, why was Mia not going to the spa services with her? Like, that would have been a perfect time to have some cousin bonding or whatever.
But she was so wrapped up in her and sulking and not being able to get a man and all of that stuff that you can't even see that this would be an opportunity for you to bond with your cousin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we should tell the interns what cluster B is.
We can remind them. We've talked about it
said
before, but yeah.
So in our book of diagnoses,
Our Bible.
yes,
DSM.
you have personality disorders,
Mm-hmm.
and there are 3 clusters of personality disorders.
Mm-hmm.
A professor told me they're usually kind of how they categorized it was wild, weird, and wary.
Oh, that's good.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. Your cluster A are going to be your weird,
I could go. I mean, cluster A tends to be the people that kill folks. So
Cluster B would be your wild.
yes.
And your cluster C would be wary. Cluster B contains borderline personality,
Yes.
narcissistic personality,
And had a good old histrionic.
histrionic personality. And isn't antisocial in cluster B too?
Is that cluster B or cluster
Cluster
A?
Oh, I thought it was cluster C. No, it will be cluster A.
That's why we got a book, y'all, because can't nobody remember all this
All the-
information.
Look, I went to school
We
10 years
graduated
ago.
in 2011.
Okay. Cut me some slack, interns. Even your professors have to write on the whiteboard.
Let me see. I'm pulling it up.
But we say all that to say, Mia would likely fall in. I feel like she's got a little bit of two of them in there.
She probably do.
She got a little bit of narcissism and a little bit of histrionic.
Okay, so I'm gonna read them so the listeners, our lovely interns, have this. So you have cluster A, that's gonna be your eccentric or odd, which
Weird.
you said it. You got paranoid personality disorder, schizotypal, schizoid. Cluster B is gonna be your erratic or dramatic. That's gonna be antisocial, borderline, histrionic, narcissistic. And then cluster C is your fearful and anxious. That's avoidant, dependent, obsessive compulsive personality disorder.
So avoiding is C. Did you ask for
I said antisocial.
Antisocial, okay.
So we got your wild, weird, and wary.
Yes.
And I was like, I like that. That's why I remembered it all these years. Because I was like, that's a good way to like
Yeah, I didn't get
categorize them.
but I wouldn't. My school psychoanalytic. That's all we got.
It's all right. But I would put Mia in a little bit of two. Now, is she diagnosis worthy? So every time, so just because a person has features or traits in any of these categories, it does not always mean that they have a full-blown diagnosis of this.
No.
So she got a little sprinkle of narcissism.
Traits.
She got a little sprinkle of histrionic. And it came through in that moment when they were supposed to be sharing and supporting Jazmin, that I got to have the light. I can't help it.
Yeah. And this is also a reason, side note, like people stop like labeling folks when you don't have now piece of degree, now piece of education in that area. Because it tears my nerves up when people like, oh, she bipolar, he bipolar. Stop saying stuff like that because they changing moods or doing something like that. Like just say that they irritating you. Like use your words better. How about that?
I know.
Yes. Yeah, please.
Like, who diagnosed you with bipolar? Oh, well, I don't know about all that. Oh, okay.
Then you not.
So you had a mood swing. Gotcha.
It's normal. It's natural. Control yourself. But I think after that, that's the spiral. That's when the whole fallout of everything. She's we see her like laying
in a closet.
Yeah,
She laying
in bed.
The pool for the food.
I said this is circa her getting ready to be in Precious, because the way she was crying and acting,
and
in
you
this
got to
scene,
think those movies is years apart. But I said okay. They was like, who gonna be Precious mama? Her, because you can tell that this scene
it was
was
like
some stuff that she was actually dealing with and had gone through. She was crying like that hopeless despair,
like that stomach hurt cry.
when you get your butt beat too hard. Or
I was like, oh yeah, this she about to be in Precious.
Yeah,
that's this.
But
She's a great. This would have showcased for me. And I'm sorry, Dr. Wall, I didn't cut you off. But for me, this is what sealed that Monique is a great actress. And despite all of the B moviness of this movie, that this woman is a great actress.
She is. She just needed a little training, a little help. But before that part of the scene, we see her lying in the bed, and she is surrounded by every type of snack cake, pizza, whole
Popcorn.
cake. Like, she got meals in the bed with her. You can tell she has not washed her butt in days. In fact, her cousin comes up to the door and is telling her that she can smell her outside in the hallway. Like, this is an example of severe depression. Like, she needed a little stay.
She did.
Yeah.
And I would even say to the point of almost a psychotic break.
Yeah.
Because she, you know, was thinking that the mannequin, like, she heard her cousin, but she, like,
she disassociated.
Thank you. Like, she had a fugue state almost.
Yes.
Where the mannequin was talking to her and, you know, just kind of reacted on that. And she also had her picture.
She had her picture on the body.
On the man body. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, she was triggered, everybody, from... She was watching another one of them dang infomercials, which, you know, them are from the devil, money wise or food wise.
But I do have to let y'all know, I was feeling that part when that lady was like, I don't want to have to eat lettuce.
Yes, we all was feeling that, because y'all know I say this ain't nothing but grass.
It is.
These little baby trees.
Yes. I could not wait. Dr. Jones had watched the movie before I did. I could not wait for that part. And I did actually laugh my behind off, because I was like,
because
everyone knows how I feel about salad.
It's got to be a bomb salad. Like, what you got to eat when you are trying to, like, drop down, that's not going to be the bomb salad. So you literally eating salt and pepper salad.
Lemon juice.
I want a lemon on my
on
salad.
lettuce. Fruit and lettuce.
Yeah.
Such a depressing combination.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was her breaking point, though. When she saw that woman crying, and then she was like, "What you say to me?" I was like, "Oh Lord, she about to go somewhere else."
Yeah.
Oh, she did.
She went way left.
Yes.
And then on top of that, y'all know I be seeing the random stuff in the background or the random stuff on people. Oh, she had this one track on her head.
Yes.
One
I saw that
track.
I was like, what is going? I said, am I seeing what I'm seeing? Is that a track back
It's
there?
one track, but you can tell that it went with the style that she wore when she got her life together. But I didn't want to see the one track.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm like, you put that glue on your hair? I had a whole moment. I couldn't even focus.
Y'all need to start looking at the background more.
But when she threw that mannequin head out and then hit that cousin,
Mia. Oh my God. My cousin is crazy. She's losing her mind.
I wonder if that was an accident.
I think that was an accident, because she really did look stunned. Then she started laughing. You know how your face laugh on the inside before your lips get to your lips? She was done.
I couldn't even stop. She hit her in the head so hard. It's like, what?
And she took this mannequin apart. She threw the head,
the
she threw the arms, the torso, the stand, threw her TV out because it kept talking to her. But even though we obviously know it wasn't talking to her, but this is what you get when you get to a place of disassociation. Like she was like 1 second away from having a full mental break. You know,
Man, that is hilarious.
It was a mess, but you know,
shout out to the actors going through moments where they actually get hurt, but you got to keep going. Because that made me think about Django when Leonardo. Now y'all know that's my boo. When Leonardo DiCaprio broke that glass and then wiped that blood on Kerry Washington's face,
and it was real,
and that was real, and you just keep rolling with the scene.
Won't do that now, COVID. But
I was like, man, shout out to method acting.
And that's why so many of them that are into their characters like that tell younger actors to make sure that they go and get therapy after they get done with their role, because it's too much. At the end of this scene, though, before we go on, I could appreciate the fact that she kind of went back into her mind and pulled from her grandmother and realized that she had some building up the whole time. And she essentially had a paradigm shift. That's really what happened. And you could see the lack of love and acceptance she received from her parents really was made up from her grandmother, but she had not properly processed it. And that's that's a problem that we see in a lot of places. You don't properly process what's going on around you, you're gonna stay stuck.
Oh, for sure.
Because if you don't receive what you need from the people you think you should get it from, you don't see it that you got it from someone else until someone like one of us break it down for you to be able to see that.
Yep.
Ooh.
You felt that?
I did. I got my life together today.
Well, the next scene, it's like all sunny and
I was like, this
beautiful.
is when the shift starts to happen for her.
Her room is clean.
She's standing bucket naked.
Exactly.
And just enjoying it.
Yes, and just like saying, this is the body that I have. There may be things that I want to change in it, but I'm going to enjoy what I have. She's taking down all of the things that don't serve her, and only the things that feed her in a positive manner are up on the walls. You can tell she done threw out all that little bitty clothing. It's
she didn't have a choice. She had ripped it out the day before.
Yeah, Mia walking in with that dang mannequin arm, talking about, oh, is you changing? I can come back.
She like, no, come on in, girl.
I'm just enjoying my nakedness.
Just enjoying me.
Exactly.
But that was good for her, though.
Yeah.
You know, there's, I'm definitely not about to get into the healthy at every size body positivity movement or the fat acceptance movement. But what I will say in relation to that is you do want to have self-worth and self-value and, confidence in you that's not always tied to how you look, but you still want to be proud of yourself despite what you look like in that moment.
Yeah, because I think the reason why so many people have issues with self-esteem is because they base their self-esteem on external things. And if we start looking at the internal things that we have that are not taken away from anyone, like you're loyal, you're honest, you're genuine, you're authentic, you're happy, you're at peace, things like that. Those are things that people can't take from you. Those external things are things that that fluctuate. And if we continue to gauge our self-esteem on those things, we're always going to be up and down.
Yep.
And even though, when you are whatever weight you are at, losing weight is not going to change your mentality.
Nope.
You have to change that where you are. So it's not, we're trying to boost or, have you to accept yourself at the weight that you are, any fat shaming and things like that. But you do have to be in a certain mindset, because honestly, when you have those gastric bypass surgeries and things like that, you have to go through therapy because they know that, okay, yeah, you can have this surgery, but if your mental does not change,
you'll be right
you'll be right back. Yeah.
And it happens to a lot of people. They get sleeve or gastric bypass or the balloon or whatnot, and they lose 100, 200, some 300 pounds. And then within a few years, right back to where they were.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that goes across many things. That's no different than, other plastic surgeries and things of that nature, the BBLs, the fake breasts, or, people, that I see in my LGBTQIA community that are going through the transition. Like, my clients already know when they come to me and they are ready to transition, it's a long journey, because you got to make sure your inside is going to match the new person that you're trying to become on the outside. Because I'm not losing no clients because they didn't do the work. I'll be like, nope, they not ready. And you can go find somebody else, but it's not going to be on my head. I'm like, you need to do the work to get where you're trying to go, because I want you to enjoy what you, because that's not an easy journey.
No. And you it's not I can change back and forth.
No,
once you've had surgery.
I mean, I guess you could, but that's a lot.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Wow, man. Okay. Well, I think they're at work.
The club.
Oh, that's right. They go back to the
that.
club. Sorry for my super Starscream voice there, guys. And and only the us 80s babies and maybe 70s babies will know what I mean. But no, it was Soundwave. That's what I did. I did Soundwave. I was really upset by this dude.
Like, why is the same dude in the club?
Yeah.
Like,
first
this your
off,
joint? Like,
why is the same guy and now you gonna pretend like you don't recognize these people. You may not know people's name, but you could recognize the face and be like,
because you just laughed at them.
Like if it had just
Not
been
even-
Stacy, that'd have been okay because she did have a complete change. But you knew it was two of them.
and this ain't even been like maybe a week.
He got amnesia.
I know. I'm like,
Oh, he was drunk. Maybe he was drunk.
whatever. Okay.
We gonna give it to him, I guess. But you know what kind of made me want to slap somebody was the Mean Girls trio coming in
Oh.
to say something. What them dancing and having fun got to do with you? Like I
Right.
get
So
the why,
random.
but I'm like, come on now, you didn't have to say all of that.
Right.
You didn't. But it was so random though.
It was.
I was like, some random person's gonna come up to you in the club and be like, "You fat."
I'm like, what? Who? What?
Not no black club.
I know. Again, I know it was for the movie, but I was like, people really out here do that? Like they just randomly walk up to people and say, "You fat B."
I mean, that sounds like something some other people would do, not in that type of club. Because it would have been on, like, it would have been on site. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
they had a whole
Interesting.
dance routine too, y'all. It was hilarious.
Yeah, like they was really just feeling themselves.
Vibing.
Like they was having fun with each other.
Mhm.
Even the little cousin came over there at some of the points in time.
And that's what you want. You want to be, when you go to the club, it's time to vibe out.
Right.
Like, I'm here to have fun. Sometimes, well, not now because I'm married, but, you know, you was on the stroll looking for some individuals.
Right.
But like that, you're still there for fun. And then here you come with your BS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to ruin my night
I
because
sure
you
would
out
have been
here
on the
miserable.
floor dancing.
I might not be on the floor, but I'll definitely be two-stepping in my chair.
No, I wouldn't have been on the floor.
Dancing.
Dancing.
It was this one spot where I grew up where they even had cages. I get up in the cages.
Lord,
It'd be me and my girls.
I
We
got
all
anxiety just hearing that.
Well, you can't see nobody. Like I'm a different person. I'm not Nichelle when I'm dancing. I'm somebody else. But that's not the point.
Yeah, no. I'm dancing. Circles. I'm inside of a circle dancing, people watching me.
Yeah, but y'all are dancers. So that makes sense. I'm a regular person.
Really? That's okay. Wait till
Especially,
this.
please don't let the percolator come on.
Oh gosh,
Baby.
it's time for the percolator.
It's
It's
time
not
for the
percolator.
percolator. Don't make me do it. Don't make me, girl. You see my shoulders
No.
moving.
Y'all, the song that get most black women. You hear that music?
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun. Girl, you look good.
Y'all, we crazy.
Who's taking over for the 99 and the 2000?
Not Lil Wayne.
Oh, God.
Juvie.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's funny.
Girl. Mm-mm. But they did have a whole little routine.
They did.
And I can appreciate it because that's what they did in that era of movies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. White chicks, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's iconic, though. White chicks.
Yeah.
That movie's hilarious. But anyway, so then they go. Now they're back at work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this one, her life about to really take off and
I
change.
was so happy for her.
Yes.
So we gonna keep this part short. We're not gonna extend this whole work scene. But the gist of it is that she finally is able to show her sketches to the buyer, and guess what?
He loved it.
Right. And then now she got a whole clothing line,
Yep.
and
Went
she about to
from-
be worldwide.
Local
Thick
to
madam.
national to world. So I was like, you better come on and be an honest. You better be an ally, sir.
Okay.
Yes, I was happy for it because he was really down. He was like,
Oh, yeah.
He was like, boy, get out of here. This good. What you talking about? Look at our section over there looking crazy.
And then held him accountable, Richard, accountable for like
Holding her back.
Yeah, it's like we could have been done. Come on now, this is about money. This is a businessman. He trying to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know what, our lighter skin complected people sometimes really like to,
Sabotage.
well, that. And I was thinking, green sometimes will trump
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's not say that word though.
Outweigh.
Impeach.
Well, yeah.
That's hilarious.
her.
Yeah, we're gonna have to stop saying that. Oh,
Yep.
It
take
will
that out the book.
override.
We'll override brown and black. But so she becomes a worldwide, fashion line for plus size fashion. And she's like, you know what? Everything in my life is almost complete.
Come on,
except for
manifestation.
I'm missing one piece. Yes. Let me go get my man or my mans.
And they did have like a real fashion show, y'all, like in the movie with plus size women that had been contestants on her show that aired many moons ago called Fat Chance. So I was like, okay, come on. Full circle. Use your people. Get them a little change, residual every time this movie is played. We helped y'all.
Yeah, we just spent $9 on y'all.
Yep.
So they go to Nigeria.
Lagos.
And somehow find where he lives.
It's probably well known because he's wealthy.
He's a doctor.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that be. Now, her being able to walk up freely to his compound, I don't know how real that is. Because I feel like there would have been some type of guard or something just for protection.
She knocks on the door and a young lady with a baby show up. But young lady does not speak English. So unintentionally miscommunicated that she was the lady of the house. And this was the baby of the house. So, Jazmin sends her friends away because she's like, look, I want to get rejected in private.
She was going to get rejected anyway. Had her ugly wig on.
Oh,
Looking like a porcupine.
That
wig was atrocious.
I wish we could speak to Mama because that's what, Monique calls herself. I wish we could speak to Mama and ask her, when you go back and look at this film, do you regret this wig?
She need to.
Because every other hairstyling you had in this movie was pretty fly for that time. But this one, I think, would have still been atrocious even in 2006.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, I concur.
So anybody that has connections to Monique, go ahead and get that started. But Dr. Tunde comes to the door.
Looking marvelous, leaning
He
in
had
the doorway.
he had such a gentle, like, inviting smile.
He looked like he delivered babies. You know what I'm saying?
I know. He looks like that doctor that's the one that like calms the babies down, like by shaking them. He looks like he could do that.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't get straight to the point, but eventually tells her like, no,
I delivered her baby.
yeah, like that's not I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Yeah, she's the housekeeper.
And he like, girl, get over here with your fine, thick self.
Now, y'all, this kiss, I wasn't paying attention to Jazmin because she wasn't kissing him the way she needed to, but the way he kissed her, man, y'all know we got a thing for kisses in our scenes. He was giving you bottom lip action, okay? I said, you better kiss her, boy. I want a doctor to kiss me like that, or play the doctor in a show. Shout out to Christian Keys.
I know, he's so cute.
He is.
He is.
And he's so like, I hate the term woke. I really do, but
he's cognizant.
There you
of
go.
Things that are going on around him.
He's aware.
Shout out to Christian Keys again. And if anybody knows him and he needs a lady, I'm available. Dr. Nichelle Wall. Okay. I want kids. He wants kids, more
perfect.
kids.
Shoot your shot, girl.
Okay.
Shoot your shot.
Hey, boo.
This is for future reference when we blow up, guys.
Right.
Dr. Wall said it here first. So, but that essentially is the end of the movie. It ends on a very positive, note that life turned around for her and she was able to get her man in the end. She, like both ladies here have said, manifested, sis. And she did. So this is a testament that you can still be, you can enjoy and love yourself. That doesn't mean that you have to change, that has nothing to do with how you look. Like your life can be full and healthy and happy in spite of, how you look. Now, I put a disclaimer on there because if your health is in danger, then something needs to be done about that to get your health in order. Now, what weight you end up at, who knows what that will be.
Yeah.
But if you have health issues, address the health issues. And that may be tied to your weight. It may not be. But if it is, then that's, the time to start doing something about it. But shout out to Monique for giving us a great breakdown of a B movie. I would have never thought it.
Yeah.
But let us know what you guys think. As always, in the comments, if there are any movies that you guys want us to break down, please let us know. We are interested in hearing your feedback so that we can, bring you some stuff that y'all enjoy.
Also, guys, like, we already know what our movie is going to be for next time, and we want to make sure that we kind of give y'all some opportunity to see this one, because it's going to be our first time that we do a movie that is like brand new. And so the movie is called Malcolm and Marie, and it's going to be released at the beginning of February. So y'all really
on Netflix. And so if y'all want to like get ahead of it and see it before we actually give our review, go ahead and do that. But it looks like it's going to be bomb, and we are like anxiously anticipating this.
Yes,
because I loves me a good sexy movie. And this movie has all the makings of being a sexy drama.
It looks like
a slow burn,
a modern day Love Jones with more meat and potatoes. Because I go back and watch that movie now, I don't really got a lot in it, but it's gonna have that vibe and account.
It's very artistic looking. It's just a vibe. Check the trailer out.
Yeah, I think John David Washington, Denzel Washington's son, and Zendaya.
I thought that was his son.
Are the leads in this particular film, and it was shot during quarantine in one house.
Oh wow!
Y'all, it's gonna be bomb. I'm so excited.
Okay, what's the name again for those?
Malcolm and Marie.
Okay, be released early February on Netflix. So check the trailer out, watch the movie. This way you guys know what's going on. When we start making all the references, we don't want y'all to be lost, and then go back and watch it again after the review.
Must be this volume control.
So, okay, interns, process your notes. Be sure to catch us next session and find us on all major platforms at The Recycled Podcast.
If you're a new intern, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Thanks for listening. And remember, we are shifting and reshaping our psyche through healing conversations and connections, one discussion at a time.